Just thrilled to be part of this throng gathered on this gorgeous weekend for a very special time here in the Northeast. Great expectations are to be realized here. $1 million race with the greatest stock car drivers in the world. This will be New England's biggest motorsports event. But set aside tomorrow for a moment. Let's talk about today. Dale Earnhardt and some of his cohorts have come up from the South to run against the Northeast's finest stock car drivers. Consider this. A guy named Jamie Obey from North Ferrisburg, Vermont's on the pole. On those hard, cold New England winter nights in the future, he can sit by the fire and tell his kids about how he out-qualified the Intimidator, Earnhardt, in the summer of '93 at New Hampshire. Bragging rights, that's what it's all about, what stock car racing is about everywhere. NASCAR's modified ranks began right here in New England. It's their oldest division, and we're going to see them strut their stuff as well, all here on the Nashville Network. I can't wait to get to my seat and to escort you to yours, wherever it is. The man on top, here's Mike Joy.
Well, thanks, Ken. As you said, for those of us who grew up in New England, we've been waiting a quarter century for this weekend of Big League Winston Cup stock car racing. And today, some drivers these fans are a bit more familiar with on a track that perhaps they're not. Good afternoon, everybody. Alongside me, as per usual, Neil Bonnet. Neil, you take a couple of fast groups of race cars, the open wheel modifieds and the Busch cars, you put them on a fast, flat racetrack, there's going to be action.
Mike, you know, we cover Busch races all over the country, but this is the Busch North Series. A lot of drivers we haven't seen before, but believe me, they're good race car drivers. They win a lot. And then you take these modifieds. My goodness, what a race car. Big motors, big wide tires, light cars. They're real fast on this big flat track. It's going to be quite a show.
Well, let's go down to the front row and meet the man who's no stranger to New England race fans, who's earned the pole position for this event. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, Jamie Obey is also no stranger to victory lane. This three-time series champion in the Busch North Series won the last race here at New Hampshire International Raceway a couple of months ago. He's one of only 3 cars in the field with a V8 engine, and Jamie, is that V8 going to be enough to hold off the likes of Earnhardt, Schrader, and McLaughlin today?
Well, it sure is running good. Carl Wagner built us a heck of a motor, and you know, we're looking to bring this Budweiser Chevrolet into victory lane again. It's going to be a tough race, but we got a lot of confidence.
You'll be able to keep cool. It's awfully hot today.
Well, this is summer. You know, we got to enjoy it while it's here up in New England.
This guy's a cool competitor if there is one up here. Randy, you've got a guy over there that might have something to say about it, though.
Well, he might very well. It's a battle of the beers on the front row. We got the Coors Extra Gold Pontiac over here with Mike Magic Shoes McLaughlin. Mike, you got a little V6 in this one. We got a V8 across from me. What do you think? Can you do anything with those V8s today?
Well, the V8s have a little bit of an edge, but if there's a V6 in the field that's going to beat him, it's Ron Hunter's paired V6. It's got good power, and we hope to put the Coors Extra Gold Oldsmobile in victory lane.
What about it? Is it going to take a little while for the V6 to come in? Is it going to work with the tires a little bit better? Are they going to burn those up on the V8?
Yeah, that's their disadvantage, the extra weight. On a long run, we hope that it's going to wear the tires out, and we'll be able to get them through the corner.
Okay, good luck, Mike. Mike's also in the modified show coming up here after this one concludes. Mike, but he should be a threat to win this one here today. Mike Joy?
Well, he will be, Randy. He's won both a Busch and modified doubleheader on this racetrack. And Neil, Mike talked about long runs and 150 laps here for these cars. Will that be a long run?
Well, it's going to be a long sprint race. They're not going to have a luxury of taking it easy. There's going to be one pit stop in between this race. But let me tell you, we go to Atlanta, we snow out. We come up here in the cool northern part of the country, and we're burning up. It's hot on that racetrack. They're going to use up some tires today.
Well, Jamie always said enjoy summer. This is one of the 10 days of summer in northern New England. The temperature is expected to go to 97 degrees today. Going to be some hot action on that track as well. Now, you heard them talk about V6s and V8s, and the Busch North cars are a little bit different than what we see on the Busch Series that we cover 18 times a year for TNN. In this week's Haviland Update, Buddy Baker takes a closer look at these up-country cars.
This is the Busch Grand National North race car. Very similar to the Busch cars you see every week. There's a few differences, though. They weigh the driver here, and it has to weigh 3,200 pounds with the driver. In my case, that was really important. A few other things. No cambered rear. Another thing, and the most important, this set of tires right here, Macquarie tires. They call these track tires $440 a set. Bias-ply tires, only allowed to put 2 sets on, and anytime you can go racing for less than $1,000, boy, that's something. And also, you can run a V8, but it has to be 9-to-1 compression and also a 390 carburetor. There's one on the pole.
V8s versus V6s, and then later on TNN, the NASCAR Modified Tour. Strap in for a great doubleheader day of racing. We'll bring it to you live from New Hampshire right after this.
Man, we're out here to test. Nothing but rain. Hey, where's Mario?
Two champions sharing a winning formula. Haviland Formula 3.
I hear your power is looking good for you this year.
It's unbelievable.
Must run pretty hot in a tight draft, though.
Got that pretty well beat.
Complete professionals who rely on the same complete protection you can buy right off the shelf.
I'm wide open all the time.
Hey, only way to do it.
Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
Quit raining, please.
Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock car. See it. Hear it. Feel it. Catch it, if you can.
Gun protectant. Nothing works better on your car's leather, vinyl, and rubber. It can turn just about anything into a great-looking car.
Nice car.
What, this pile of junk?
Give it the gun with Son of a Gun. And now give your tires a quick kick with one-step tire care.
Defense is not to offend. Thus, introducing the new Right Guard Sports Stick. Now with a time-release formula for longer-lasting protection against hostile odor all day. For protection that endures.
Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the Auto Palace Slick 50 150 is brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Welcome back to New Hampshire International Speedway. Sears Die-Hard Batteries, now with more power when you need it most, presents the starting grid for today's Slick 50 150. On the pole, Jamie Obey from North Ferrisburg, Vermont, and Mike McLaughlin, former doubleheader winner here, will start alongside. In row number 2, Andy Santerre, leading rookie candidate and former champion Robbie Crouch. Curtis Markham, up from Virginia, will start in the 3rd row along with Maine's Joe Bessie from the Busch South Tour. Winston Cup Ken Schrader's in the field in a Dick McCabe car next to Keith Lamell. And there's Dale Earnhardt running his old number 8 that he had from the Busch Series, starting next to Kelly Moore. In row 6, former national mod champ Mike Stefanik with modified point leader Reggie Ruggiero. Greg Clark from New York State shares the 7th row with Tom Bowles from Connecticut. In row number 8, there's Morgan Shepherd out of North Carolina with his Ford, and Ed Kennedy from Coppell, Texas. Bobby Dragon brings the Dragon Wagon from Milton, Vermont against Dick McCabe, former champion. Brian Ross, who won at Holland, New York this year, along with Stub Fadden in the 10th row. Gigi Gravel from Groton, Mass, and Mark Purcell from Mooresville, North Carolina. Then it's the other Kenny Wallace, this one from Dallas, Pennsylvania, next to Dean Ferry of New Hampshire. Dana Patton, another former champion, he's from Enfield, New Hampshire, and Glenn Sullivan from New York State. Then from New York, Bob Brunel, and from Massachusetts, Tommy Rosati, former Oxford winner. In row 15, Buzzy Bazanson from Plaistow, New Hampshire, and Steve Hoddick. Modified ace Ted Christopher starts next to Jeff Berry, both from Connecticut. From New York State, Jeff Spraker, and for the Busch South Tour, Shauna Robinson. Michael Olson from North Haverhill, New Hampshire, and Barney McRae from Colchester, Vermont. Then from Mayetta, New York, Martin Truex, and Paige Jones, Parnelli's second son, from California. Babe Branscombe from Northwood, New Hampshire, and Scott DeWare, the road racer from Quincy, Mass. Finally, Randy Snyder from Fultonville, New York. Those are your 41 starters. 51 drivers came to New Hampshire to attempt qualifying. They have fired the engines here at New Hampshire International Speedway. We'll be back with the start after this.
Most trackers can follow the trail only as long as the weather holds out. unless it's a tracker spurred on with genuine AC spark plugs. AC plugs fire faster than lightning for performance so smooth, even the thunder claps. And that'll keep your engine on the trail to a longer life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time.
So better track down some AC spark plugs.
Watch the magic of Turtle Wax. Turtle Wax Color Magic color-enriching car polish. While the magic of Color Magic helps hide minor scratches and enriches your car's color, the science of Turtle Wax gives you 12 months of unsurpassed protection and beating. Even on old neglected finishes, Color Magic works its magic, while Turtle Wax product science removes years of oxidation and brings back the shine. Get the magic and science of Turtle Wax. Turtle Wax Color Magic color-enriching car polish.
He's a regular Joe.
I always want to be a people pleaser and do things to make people like me. So, you know, consequently, if it was anything I did, I always did the best I could at it and hope to receive some sort of reward or praise for it, you know.
With a honky-tonk attitude.
The beer drinking, belly rubbing, boot stomping, good time. And that's
Joe Diffie on the path to stardom on TNN tonight. Presented by Cracker Barrel Old Country Stores.
Coming up on Winners, Emerson Fittipaldi, the reigning champion and two-time winner of the Indianapolis 500. Works hard on the track to enjoy life off the track. See his mansion, his boat, his cars. Hear what gave him one of his greatest thrills. Emerson Fittipaldi, next on Winners.
Winners, Sports Sundays, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central on TNN.
That's what a clear 97-degree day looks like here in New Hampshire. Those are hazy clouds. They're not really giving these folks much shade here at New Hampshire International. You see the sharp shadows beneath these cars as they get set to roll off here for 150 miles. You note on the hood of that car it says Racing Capital. That's Babe Branscom's mount, and he is sponsored by the capital city of New Hampshire, Concord. And he'll be carrying our in-car cameras today. There's a look inside at the what Director Gary Clem likes to call the dome light camera, our race cam over his shoulder. There's the roof cam. There's a view of this facility. Big crowd on hand. And also, there's another look at a driver about to be hard at work. Too bad that shade will be down. You won't see all the sweat because they will build it today. Just walking around down there in garage area, you could feel the sun coming down and the heat coming back up off the asphalt. If you got lightheaded, Neil, you might think you were at Myrtle Beach again.
Mike, I tell you, I looked in the grandstands, and the bulk of these people are in bathing suits, and it smells just like you said, suntan lotion. You think you're at the beach. It's hot.
How hot is it? 93 degrees right now. They expect 97. It's about half humid. A little breeze from out of the southwest. You can feel it real strong up on the roof, but not so much down there in that grandstand. Hot and humid, one of the 10 days of summer here in northern New England. Mark Twain once said, if you don't like the weather, wait a minute, it'll change. He was living in Hartford, Connecticut at the time. And it's true. This track measured 15 feet in from the wall, outside wall, as NASCAR does. It's just a touch over a mile. It is long straightaways, 1,500 feet, very flat turns. The banking as much as 12 degrees. Sure doesn't feel like it when you haul off down in there. It feels pretty flat. And the straightaways are 65 feet wide. One lap will go racing. How they've been characterizing this track?
Like a big Martinsville, like one of the short tracks. They have to use a lot of braking, a lot of power down the straightaway.
You're watching from our Ray Bestis Brakes helicopter camera, floating high above New Hampshire International Speedway here at Loudon. Fine folks from Ray Bestis, Best in Brakes, bringing you these pictures. And you see the outfield section of the course here, where part of the old Briar Road course still survives and is used by SCCA and the motorcycles. Over $100,000 posted for these Busch North competitors today. 41 starters, 51 cars attempted to qualify. They'll run 150 laps. Ricky Craven holds the record. Mike McLaughlin is the point leader, one of the finest drivers on this tour, and a fellow who is looking to make the jump full-time to the Busch Series down south and eventually Winston Cup. He has a modified national championship in his pocket. He'll start on the outside pole in the Mike and Harry Griccione car out of Granby, Connecticut. And Dick McCabe, proprietor of the McCabe Lobster Bait Company in Kennebunkport, Maine, is the number 2 point man. Jamie Obey, the pole sitter, is third. Pace car is in. Looks like about 40,000 folks here. One to go. Here in the grandstand, lining the hillside along the back straightaway.
I just noticed something. They put the white flag out, meaning one lap before the green. They never do that down south. Is that something they do up here, Mike?
I believe just in this series, in the Busch North Series, they give the drivers a one to go in that fashion. Here's a look at the point standings. Curtis Markham is 4th, driving that Skoll number 7, and Robbie Crouch, a former champion up north here, he is currently posted in 5th as we get set to go racing.
I think the big scramble here is going to be, like Buddy touched on at the top of the show, about the V8 in the pole setter's car. Can these 6s get after him? Looks like the V8 might have to eat some tires up before they can run him down, Buddy.
Well, the V8 is so much heavier on the nose that he will use more front tire up, and that's the whole thing. The V6 will handle better as they go along, so it's going to be touch and go for that V8. But he does have a horsepower advantage of about 30 horsepower, I understand.
So we're set to go racing this time by Jamie Obie. Up on the point. He won here at New Hampshire earlier this year. Finished 2nd at Holland, New York, behind Brian Ross, and at Stafford Springs, Connecticut in the last tour race, behind Mike McLaughlin. We are under green, and Obie on the bottom. From the pole will take the lead. Andy Santerre from Maine with Connor Pontiac. Moving up into 2nd, Mike McLaughlin can't get to the bottom. That green car is Curtis Markham. Quick flow of air, Skoll number 7, car that Chuck Bown used to drive on this North Circuit.
Mike, I think you hit the key there. As hot as it is, a little bit slippery on the track. They don't want to get in that bottom part of that track. It's going to be critical to stay low at the first of this race.
Obie up front, Santerre in 2nd.
Boy, Santerre is really getting off in the corner fast, and he was pumped up yesterday. I talked to him up, he pushed out a little bit there and let a car get under him just as I was talking, but he was really excited about the day. I think the car is running well enough. He'll be back up front soon as he finds out you can't run on the bottom of the racetrack.
You saw him free wide come out of turn 2 there as you ride along with Babe Branscombe. He's going to come up on the slow car of Biggie Gravel, working his way back toward the pack and headed to the inside in pit row. 2 complete. That number 8 car, Dale Earnhardt. That's the number he used to carry when he ran a Chevy Nova on the old NASCAR late model sportsman circuit.
Last year up here in the Busch race, he qualified 20-something. It took him a while to get the front. He qualified off the pace in this race.
You don't have to recognize the number to watch that move down the inside. That's Kelly Moore underneath. Joe Bessie, and up the outside, that's Ken Schrader, that Fisher Snowplow 01, the other Dick McCabe car.
You can see you can't run around the top part of this racetrack yet.
I tell you, Schrader was out there where he needed a snowplow. 3 deep on the outside to be handier than that race car. You're not going to be able to do that. He got pinched out there and got hung out.
That Mark Martin-looking Valvoline car, number 6, that's Mike Stefanik, another former modified champ. We saw him in Nazareth on TNN and in some of the combined Busch North-South races.
You know, you travel across the country, run a different area, and you see a lot of these guys paint their cars the same paint scheme as some of the Winston Cup cars, and it is a little bit confusing.
7th place race here. Joe Bessie runs 9 in the North, 97 down south. That gold-colored car. And back at the race here for 7. Bessie, Earnhardt, and Mike Stefanik. This is only Bessie's 4th Busch North start of the year. He's been concentrating on the Southern Series. Best finish is 7th at Lee, New Hampshire. Here comes Earnhardt underneath. This is Earnhardt's first Busch North race of the year, but remember last year in the 250, he and Joe Nemechek dueled right to the checker with Nemechek taking a narrow win.
You guys can see the car leaning way over there. That's very important. The car travels a lot there to get a lot of side bite. Also a little body check in there getting in the corner. But these cars have to travel a lot on the right side and put more pressure down on the right side turns.
Buddy, I think, Mike, like we talked about top show, what these guys relate this to, they relate it to a half-mile racetrack with longer straightaways. It doesn't require a lot more spring, a lot more chassis changes than if you were running on a half-mile track. It's just got long straightaways.
Mike Stefanik in the Auto Palace Valvoline Chevy getting underneath Joe Bessie. Bessie was some power down the straightaway, and that's Ken Schrader right behind.
Get together a little bit. We've seen Bessie the last 2 times. A little people leaning on him going through this corner. And the Schrader, he wants to make sure he gets up there Schrader's in the yellow car today. He's trying to get under Bessie before he can plug that hole back up.
Right behind them, Greg Clark in the 45. Yeah, Schrader tries the bottom shot, which doesn't look like, Neil, it works as well in turn 3 as it does in turn 1.
You know, when we stand on top of the roof and look down at the track, you can see the pattern of where the cars ran, the black place on the racetrack. For some reason, down in turn 1 and 2, the groove looks a lot wider than it does at turn 3. They can live with that 2 abreast in 1 and 2 a lot better than they can down in 3 and 4. There's an example. There's somebody trying to get up under them down in 1 and 2.
That's Bessie.
Mike, you can see the cars kick out in the back there, just a little bit off the corner. That's the one thing the V8 car is going to have to be real careful of, because once the V8 starts breaking the wheels loose, he's at a disadvantage. You see they're running down there.
This is at the front of the pack. Jamie Obey leading Curtis Markham. Just tuned in, that's not Bill Elliott and Harry Gant. This is the Busch North Series, with a couple of Winston Cuppers thrown in just for seasoning.
Yeah, what's going to happen is, like we've talked about, the red car with the motor, he's motoring everybody to death. The other cars are going to have to just out-handle him and hope the handle goes away on the red 41 car, see if it give up a little bit.
Jamie Obey, a 4-time champion, rather a 3-time champion of this series, 1988, 89, and 90. Mike McLaughlin trying to hold off Kelly Moore, taking that high entry line, and now here's Bessie getting passed by Kenny Schrader. Schrader underneath, and now the 45, Greg Clark, the top USA Chevrolet from Old Chatham, New York.
It took 3 laps for that to happen. We saw Schrader get a nose up under the 9 car, Bessie. It took him 3 laps of taking away at to get it.
4th place is the battle. Kelly Moore has gotten underneath Mike McLaughlin. You heard Mike at the top of the show say his car was set up for a long run. Didn't expect it to be that quick in this early going.
And I'll tell you, he's a good enough race car driver. He can read that car. The guy's really got a lot of ability in that car. And it'll probably come back to him later in the race.
It's Kelly Moore. There's McLaughlin, and here's Earnhardt coming up. McLaughlin, a protege of the late great modified ace Richie Evans. And we're back at the front. Jamie Obey leading Curtis Markham here at New Hampshire International Speedway. We'll be right back.
Man, we're out here to test. Nothing but rain. Hey, where's Mario?
2 champions sharing a winning formula. Haviland Formula 3.
I hear your power is looking good for you this year.
It's unbelievable.
Must run pretty hot in a tight draft, though.
Got that pretty well beat.
Complete professionals who rely on the same complete protection you can buy right off the shelf.
Yeah, I'm wide open all the time.
Hey, only way to do it.
Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
Quit raining, please.
Over 1 million people each week walk into AutoZone, and taking care of them means having what they need when they need it. That means stocking a lot of parts for a lot of cars. Now, nobody can stock everything, but we stock more than most. And how do we know which ones to carry? That's easy. We listen to our customers, because nobody knows better about what you want than you. So the next time you walk through that door, you might think of yourself as a customer, but we think of you as the boss.
It's the most powerful show on television. High drama, with intense energy. A show dedicated to a few brave souls who risk their lives for the sake of their craft. Its in-depth reporting goes to the core and unlocks the mysteries behind today's raciest sport. NHRA Today, Saturdays and Sundays on TNN Motorsports. Catch it when you can.
Coming up Sunday morning on race day, we'll be live from the site of Sunday's Winston Cup race in Loudon, New Hampshire. It's a big weekend of racing from there, and you can see it all right here on TNN. Plus, the Trans Am Series is in Des Moines, Iowa. Be sure to join us for those stories and the latest news right here.
Race day, 2 different editions, 11:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. Eastern, TNN Motorsports Sundays.
We're back at New Hampshire International Speedway. Jamie Obey has been joined in this chase for the lead by Curtis Markham and Andy Santerre in the number 15 car, leading Penrose Rookie Challenger this season. Markham in that number 7 Skoll car drove in a handful of Winston Cup races in the early 1980s for then car owner Elmo Langland. He's from Virginia. Slow car in turn 2, but gets going again. Looks like we'll stay under green.
Curtis Markham tried to get around the leader on the outside.
That's Scott DeWare in Quincy, Mass.
Looks like he's got a right front tire down, Mike.
He's an ex-SCCA road racer. Looks like he got up against the wall.
That's a mean place to have a flat tire because you can't get across the racetrack without getting hit. So he's got to hold it up against the wall and hope for caution here pretty quick.
He's trying to find a break where he can get across, and it's right up on one.
That slow car they just went by, the black car, Ed Kennedy, off the pace from Coppell, Texas, flies home to Windsor Locks, Connecticut, to his old home to race on a short track every Saturday night from Texas.
Well, I thought Curtis Markham was going to be able to get around the leader a while ago. He worked on it really hard, but it seems like he's falling back a little bit.
I noticed Albee has a style that he really works well with, and he took the line away, so they started running the outside line, and I think he used their tires up. They're going to have to cool them to make a run at him.
Here's Scott DeWare coming in to change that right side tire in the Pace Trailers Pontiac. Albee has opened up a couple of car lengths now that Curtis Markham has to deal with Andy Santerre.
I think that's the key. I think Andy's got in behind him here, and it's letting Albee get away. These two guys, the 7 car went from offense to defense. He's trying to hold the guy back, and he's losing a little bit of ground, having to deal with the red car trying to get around him.
Robbie Crouch ran most of the early laps in 5th position, but he has now gone behind the wall.
So he slowed right when we were in that last commercial break. They brought him in. They thought they might have lost a cylinder. Indeed, that's exactly what it was. He lost a cylinder. That is a 6-cylinder automobile, and 5 cylinders against 8 just won't make it, guys. So he's done for the day, they say.
Holds 3 career victories in what is now the Busch North Series. Formerly the NASCAR North Touring Series, and one of 2 full-bodied late model stock national championship type tours up here in the Northeast. Second place, the battle. You see Jamie Obie on the left side of your screen, and Santerre in that red number 15 car, looking all over the back bumper of Curtis Markham.
Mike, that's what you call casual contact. He's bumped about 3 or 4 times now, and what that does, that makes that 7 car look in the mirror a lot and start running offline. You notice he's running a little bit wide there? He's going to get by him, it looks like.
Ken Schrader and Dale Earnhardt, Winston Cup combatants, Pontiac and Chevrolet mounted. And Schrader, of course, in the yellow car.
I tell you, when Schrader gets around the racetrack, he'll get out and find him a ride.
For the second place.
He's been trying and trying to get around him. Looks like he's got that inside line now.
And the Buick of Mike Santerre, the O'Connor GMC car, getting underneath Curtis Markham.
Now he's coming right back by again. I'm telling you what, these 2 guys are letting the lead car get away by all this fighting they're doing.
And there's Obie lapping past the number 3 car, Randy Snyder, provisional starter in the McDonald Chevy. Might be a little tire smoke for Jamie Obie. Second place. Santerre's going to play the pick and run here if he can on that lapped car. See if he gets away with it. No, big trouble. 56, Martin Truex pulling away. Tommy Rosati in the number 2 car, and that leaves up on the wall at turn number 3 just 1 car.
They've had to change the numbers on some of these cars because of the duplicate numbers. They had a tremendously large field. A lot of guys had to go home, and some of these numbers aren't right on the drivers.
So 1 car in the fence. One of the Oldsmobiles.
It looks like it used to be a 13. There's 2 13s.
Well, the 1 car is Tony Hirschman.
Yeah, see, they've changed some of them. That car originally looked like a 13. I'm not sure which one it is.
What about Teddy Christopher's car out of Connecticut? Sorry, folks, we shouldn't be wondering. That is Ted Christopher. He and his twin brother, Mike, run the Winston Racing Series Modified Tour down in Connecticut. We'll be right back.
Celebrate summer, starring Pat Boone, Gary Morris, Charlie Pride, Glenn Campbell, and McLean Stevenson, with music and highlights from this year's Crosby National Celebrity Golf Tournament. the 1993 Crosby Clam Bake. TNN Monday.
Here is the heart, TNN,
where the brightest stars all welcome you to come on in.
We're the music of America, and you are a part. Deep in the heart of country.
Here is the heart,
where what country's all about.
here is the heart.
You've got the best seat in the house. We're the music of America, and you are a part. Deep in the heart. Oh, here is the heart of country.
This rock formation has been long famed in New England as the old man of the mountain. Natural rock formation, and it looks kind of like old Stoneface, one of our NASCAR inspectors.
I believe somebody went up there and chiseled that on that mountain. That's too
Might have happened.
too defined.
Depends on which legend you want to believe, Neil. This is Ted Christopher's car. We apologize. He was listed on the entry list as 37, but he does run 13 down at the Modifieds and on the North Tour. But that number taken by Reggie Ruggiero today. He climbed out of the car and was okay after getting up into the fence up between turns 3 and 4. Tom Rosati pulled away from the incident, has made repairs on pit road, and they're pushing him back off into the race. So we'll go back to green here in a couple of laps. Mike McLaughlin coming down pit road. Already there, the cars of Steve Hoddick and Iggy Gravel.
Mike McLaughlin had faded a good bit when the race started. He's one of the first guys to come in, one of the front guys.
Buddy, you were telling us earlier they're limited how many tires they have for the whole race here.
Yeah, they can only change 2 tires during the race, and if they have a flat all the way down, then they can change that.
Glenn?
Well, Mike McLaughlin was awfully glad to see this caution come out. The car was very, very loose, the reason he was fading back. They're taking this opportunity to adjust the rear track bar. I saw them get a rubber to maybe put in the right front spring, but they decided to go to the rear of the car and move the track bar to see if they can't tighten that car up. This extreme heat has caused the car to get a lot looser than they thought it would, so it takes a long time to run around this track under caution, so they've got plenty of time to do this. They've got the air wrenches out there. They're making that adjustment right now, hoping to get Mike back into a competitive state. He's down and away.
36-second stop for McLaughlin. Today, the 8th race on the Busch Grand National North Tour for 1993. McLaughlin won the last race at Stafford Springs, Connecticut. Jamie Obey lined up right here, chasing his 4th championship, perhaps. Second to McLaughlin there.
Guys, from lap 18, I noticed some smoke from the leader's car, Jamie Albee, and I thought it might have been coming out of the headers. Went over to the team, they said absolutely not. Where it is coming from is the left front brake duct. So already the brake's getting hot on that V8. Now, in 150 laps here, you know this track is very similar to a Martinsville or a Phoenix, but there is a lot of brake being used, and with only 26 laps down, I think this team is already concerned about possibly burning the brakes off of this car.
Do you use a lot of brake here?
Yeah, let me tell you, they're running with these flat straightaways, and it shows 12 degrees banking when we show the graphic on the racetrack. It just doesn't look like 12 degrees. I think that's out at the wall. Some of these tracks have a little step up, and then it goes up a little bit more degree of banking, and it just takes so much brake to get the car down in the corner that they're going to use a lot of it.
What you have to do is realize that you're going to use a lot of brake and let the car do a lot of work so you don't lean on the brakes and lose them. So these guys have to be running the race with that idea of keeping brakes for the last part of the show.
26 laps complete, buddy. Here's how they're running. Jamie Obey at the front of the pack. Curtis Markham, Andy Santerre, the rookie. Kelly Moore, Kenny Schrader's worked his way up to 5th. Dale Earnhardt is 6th. Joe Bessie is 7th. Mike Stefanik in 8th. Greg Clark is 9th. Keith Lamell has the 10th spot ahead of Dick McCabe and Bobby Dragon, both longtime standouts. 32 of 41 starters still on the lead lap. There's a little sweat in the eye of Babe Branscombe, our City of Concord Chevrolet driver. See, he gets a little breeze coming in through there, but not a whole lot.
Then he closed the heater down again. Closed the door in the oven.
Right.
You notice he had the full-face helmet with the vent tube in it and had no vent tube hooked up to it. So that's got to be a pretty warm ride for him.
warm down up pit road today as well.
Talking about how warm it is. We have about 3 people in the grandstands have heat exhaustion. The fans are the ones they're cooking right now.
Yep, when Neil and I were standing on the roof, you could just smell the suntan oil. I thought we were back in Daytona Beach.
It looked like it with all the bathing suits.
Yep.
And here they are. Now you tell me, we go to Atlanta, Georgia, and we have a blizzard.
Yep.
And we come up here and I said, man, let's pack some short sleeve shirts and just get out and enjoy this nice cool weather up here. And I'm telling you, it is cooking up here.
I've soaked through 3 of them today already. Out of turn number 4, Jamie Obie will lead them around. No one on this tour this year has yet won 2 races. 7 events, 7 different winners.
You know, these restarts, I keep thinking that we'll see that big old V8 just pull away, but it's not that natural. Look, he got in the corner a little hard, slid out. Boy, we saw him turn, Markham turned up under him and got the back end loose, but he's trying for that inside line.
There you saw Schrader and Earnhardt. They were 3 wide down into turn 1. There's Earnhardt.
That looked like Daytona last week. Just different color cars, you know.
Back up front, Kelly Moore makes the move for 3rd place in number 47. Getting underneath the 15 car of Andy Santerre.
I tell you what, Curtis Markham in the 7 car, he can turn down and get under the 41 car, but his car is so loose when he does, he can't get back in the throttle and pull up beside him. He can make the turn, but he just can't get up off the corner like he needs to.
5th place, Earnhardt and Schrader going at it. Black and yellow there, just behind the lead pack.
What color do you have when you mix black and yellow? Orange?
Kind of a little bluff.
Well, get ready. We're fixing some bluff ready here.
Kind of like Kelly Moore has come all the way under Curtis Markham and up to 2nd spot.
Pretty good move on his part, I'll tell you. Got a couple of guys battling for 2nd place, and he drove around both of them.
Kelly Markham just cannot stay down on the bottom of the racetrack. They're driving right under him, Neil. It's going to make a long day if he don't get that car adjusted where he can stay on the bottom.
We saw him make a move on the leader wall when the back end broke loose on the car. I'll tell you what, next time they have a caution, you're probably going to tune that thing up a little bit.
So Markham slides back to 4th place in the Skoll car. Here comes the Goodwrench Chevrolet of Earnhardt. In 5th, Schrader driving that snowplow is 6th.
He certainly won't cut him a break. That'll be a position right there, folks.
Joe Bessie on the move. Right behind him, there's Joe.
And there's Schrader saying, now just leave the door open just a minute. Let me get my butt in there.
Yeah.
Makes it so much easier when you can follow a guy and not have to do all the work yourself of moving him over and getting that line.
I'll tell you, it helps when you're sponsored by a snowplow company to be an aggressive driver. Here's Schrader getting that Fisher blade right up underneath Earnhardt. And Joe Bessie in the Auto Palace car right with them.
Neil Markham moved up in, and he's running actually faster in the 2nd lane than he was around the bottom. He's giving Earnhardt all he can stand.
I think his car was so loose a while ago, he couldn't get back in the throttle. And the thing to do when it is, look here, 3 abreast. While they're battling, Schrader gets on the inside.
He wasn't waiting for him to open the door. He was waiting. Oh, up in the wall. That's Ken Wallace out of Dallas, Pennsylvania. TGI Friday's car shouldn't have run on Saturday. That big chunk out of the back of it looked as if he had a little help.
Or an enemy, I'm not sure which.
Yep. See the back end all stove up there.
I see a car down in the infield there trying to get back in the race.
Yeah, he might have beat the caution car back out one on the infield. Believe it or not, he's got this one cranked back off and going again.
Yep.
A lot of sparks flying off him. Probably got the right front flat.
So we're under caution again, this time at lap 33 for Ken Wallace. In the fence, there's your front 5. We'll be right back.
Noble warrior advised, the art of protection springs from within. One must stay vigilant against one's unfragrant perspiration, lest one provoke a hostile response. Thus, a Norse ritual is Right Guard Sports Stick. An aromatic array of the freshest scents and maximum protection against disarming wetness. Confirming the wisdom, the best defense is not to offend. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Hey, is that what I think it is. Yeah, it's my new Wagner power painter. Well, can you edge with it? Yeah, you can edge like this, or adjust it to control the paint up close. And when I'm done, I'm gonna switch nozzles and stain my deck. Do a lot of other jobs I've been meaning to do.
Well, does it clean up easy?
Yeah, it's quicker than you think.
Why am I painting this by hand?
Good question. Get a Wagner.
In America, your car is not just something you own. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco has developed Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. With not one, but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
Exclusive TNN Motorsports coverage of the Auto Palace Slick 50 150 is brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. We're back in New Hampshire. Ken Wallace has made a couple of pit stops in order to get back out on the track after that incident up in turn number 1. And the car that's sideways, the white car, that is Mark Purcell, and you'll see the black car, Paige Jones, involved, but it's already started here. As you can see, let's roll this and see what happens.
See, right on the outside wall, just straight in. See, you can see the skid marks way back here on the right. He had the thing locked down and just went right in on the right front. What's good, this thing shows 65 foot of width on this track. It gives them a little bit of distance to get the car slowed down before they get out to do that wall.
Somebody had already gotten into the back of him as that appeared to start way up in turn 1.
Usually what happens on a deal like that, you'll see it happening at first. This guy probably got on the brakes. Somebody nailed him in the rear and then drove him right into that outside wall.
There's a prankster at work here at New Hampshire. As Neil and I were up on the roof to do our stand-ups, Davey Allison walked up. He had a spotter's headset with him. He walked over and tried to take away Neil's earpiece and microphone and said he was going to do this for the day. Well, Neil fought him off. Where'd he go then?
Then he came down here in the air conditioning and sat down, but he just went over to stole Earnhardt's spotter's headset, and he's telling Earnhardt how cool it is up here in the booth. So he's kind of rubbing it in Earnhardt down there while he's got a chance.
There's Earnhardt carrying number 8 today, running in 5th.
I think I just heard him tell Dale to turn right at the next corner.
Yeah. Go off to the ice cream stand. Mike McLaughlin has just made a pit stop.
He's been working with that car. He's had some trouble with it from the start. We saw him make that early stop. And, I mean, if you're back in the pack, the thing to do is work on your race car. And they've still got a long way to go. He can get it straightened out.
Let's find out what they did. Here's Glenn.
Well, guys, he took advantage of another caution flag here. The car's still extremely loose. They brought the car at that time, let some air out of the right rear, and they bumped the spoiler up. But good friend of theirs, Brett Bodine, the Winston Cup driver, is down here in the pits, and he and I were talking about it. They seem to think that possibly the right front spring is just too weak. The car goes in the corner, dumps the weight on the right front, and the back end comes around. So they're probably going to have to come in one more time and put a rubber in the right front.
The linkage there is both McLaughlin and Brett Bodine used to drive NASCAR modifieds for the Billy Carrazzo team. Before moving on. Back under green. There's Kelly Moore in that black 47. In second place, the Jordan Lumber Chevrolet. Right behind Jamie Obey.
Yeah, we saw Obey on the other restart get in a little bit hard, slide out, and they tried to pass him. He protected that inside lane a little bit better.
Watching from the Ray Bestis Best in Brakes camera, high above New Hampshire International. Here comes Earnhardt on the bottom.
He'd been trying his best to get around Schrader. Schrader and Earnhardt swapped it back toward Buddy, and he finally got under him.
I think this is where Earnhardt comes on strong. You know, he starts back in every race about 8th or 9th and then works his way to the front. And he sets his car up tight enough not to get way out loose. And right now the car's working well, and he's coming right to the front like he always does.
I don't think Schrader's going to give him any slack, though. We see Earnhardt get a little bit of room. Schrader comes up, he drives it back around him again. These two guys really like to race with each other.
You see there, it's visible, though, that Earnhardt's car staying right on the bottom, and he's really having to use a little brake here to stay out of the quarter panel.
Andy Santerre, 15 car Buick, and Earnhardt slides right underneath them, and Santeras to come down quickly, or Schrader was going to grab another spot.
Mike, that's what we've talked about all along. Let one guy move the traffic over. If you take advantage of Santeras, wouldn't have anything to do with it. He's a Schrader. You're going to have to work to come by, but you didn't give him that free pass.
Nope. Good move by the rookie driver in that orange number 15 car.
And plus, you're talking about a rookie driver. Who else would you want to follow and try to learn some things from than that little black car right there?
Joe Bessie in the 9 car, right with that pack. They're your leader. Jamie Obey, 3-time champ, 3 in a row on this circuit. And Kelly Moore, who's led more of these Busch North races than anybody this year. He's led 4 races out of the 7.
And he wants to lead this one. I'm telling you, he's not giving him any slack. He's all over the back of his car from the middle of the corner. This is where the 6 should work, right here. Look, boy, what a shot right up in the middle of the corner.
Kelly Moore has just led his 5th race of the year.
That makes you look good, Neil.
Well, just like you talking about, buddy, top of the show, that a little bit more weight on the front tires. You wear the fronts out a little bit, slide the nose out, people get up under you.
You can see it right there. See Earnhardt turning under him. I tell you, that's a big difference.
Left car to the inside. Earnhardt goes right back to the high side. Brother Obey comes up to cover the spot. 2nd and 3rd place here. We're coming up on a 3rd distance. 41 complete out of 150 laps.
Got up beside him this time. Here's where that 8 is supposed to do it, right down this straightaway. But once you take that inside line away, there's not much you can do with it.
Oh, boy, he's going to lose a couple of positions here. I tell you, once you go to the outside, and you can see the nose of that car actually favoring the outside of the racetrack, he's going to lose 3 spots now.
There's Schrader. He's just sitting there just clicking along as everybody else does. Every time they open the door, he goes with them.
Look at Santerra, though, go by Earnhardt. He said he's going to follow him and learn something.
Well, he did.
I think he might want to teach it a little.
In one lap, he figured it out.
Here comes Schrader as well, underneath the 8 car.
Some guys just learn quick, you know. We joke about that. Let me tell you what. This tour they have, this division up here, we don't hear that much about it because we cover the the Busch Series at home, but I'm telling you, they got some talented drivers on this circuit here and really good race cars.
And you got a couple talented guys right here trying to battle with him. Kent Schrader in the 0-1 car, Dick McCabe, 2nd McCabe car, and Earnhardt.
You know what you see here, guys? You see these guys do the same thing they do at Martinsville a lot in the race field. They use up your tires. You see Earnhardt fading a little bit. A while ago, he looked like a world beater. Now he's dropped back and Schrader's past him. So what you got to do is regroup a little bit. See him wash out there? His chassis went away a little bit.
Well, that pass is going to go on Andy Santerra's highlight reel. He's going to be watching that one a lot through the winter. Anytime you can drive up and under Dale Earnhardt, you're having a pretty good day. Jamie Obey, the early leader, and Curtis Markham, who ran 2nd, have now faded just a bit. You see them there. The red car is Obey, and the green and white machine, number 7. That is Markham. Back to 6th and 7th place now.
We talked at the first of the show about the track tire here. And when they come with a track tire, it's usually a hard compound to try to save the guy some money. And just like Buddy said, when you heat that thing up and it goes away, you just got to calm back down, cool them down, and go back again. The tire is not as sticky or hold as well as some could possibly be, but they're looking at it on the money side. Go with something hard, save the guy some money.
Well, it's a good idea, and I was talking to Bobby Dragon the other day, and I said, how much money have you pulled out of your pocket to run this year? And he said, not 1 cent.
Joe Bessie, the number 9 car, the Auto Palace AC Delco machine underneath Dale Earnhardt now. This battle is 2.5 seconds behind the race leader. Almost, not quite. Okay.
Yeah, that outside out there. He's tried that outside lane, but we haven't been able to see anyone to make it really work that good.
The car coming up on him, that is McCabe in his own car, the black and yellow car. Between McKinney Schrader, the paint job.
You know, this is a bias flat tire they're on, Neil, and it looks like Earnhardt might have a little growth in the right front tire now, and he's pushing pretty much in the center part of the corner.
Now here's McCabe coming up, making a pass on the outside. Winner at Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. He's notched a lot of wins on this series over the years, a couple of titles.
Seems to be able to make it work around the outside back there. Black car driving right around. A lot of smoke out of the 41. They said earlier they didn't see that smoke. They sure did show up that time coming off that corner. See it right there, even a puff right there in the middle of the corner.
Straight out from under the car. Jamie Obey, pole sitter and early pace sitter here. Here's McCabe, still working that outside on Curtis Martin. Dick McCabe, the defending series champion. That long Pontiac.
Just trying to get a little bit each lap. You just can't hardly drive around him, but he's just trying to pick his way by inch at a time. Get a little bit here, next straightaway try to get a little more, and then down the corner, drive on by him. But that outside is really making him work hard.
McCabe in that 0 car started in 18th position. Now up here, battling at 7th.
He's almost got him cleared, but watch the 7 car come right back up off of this corner. He's been getting a little bit of distance at a time, but he just can't make the pass.
At the first part of the race, you can see the cars on the bottom would just drive right away from the outside lane, but as you go along and the racetrack gets quicker, it looks like the outside groove may be just a little bit quicker now.
Dale Earnhardt and Jamie Obey coming back at him. Obey's ridden along a bit, let his tires cool. McCabe completes the pass on Curtis Markham.
Well, Mike, I talked to Pete Pennon. He's the crew chief on Obey's car, and I asked him if there was another problem. He said, well, it might be an oil leak. And I said, well, what about the brake problem that Randy reported earlier? He said, well, it might be that. So they really don't know what it is right now. But the smoke comes out when Jamie really gets on the brakes going into turn 1. I'm standing right here, so I really think that it's tire smoke. It could be that the chassis is getting down on the tire, but they definitely got a problem.
Up front, Kelly Moore has a challenge from the rookie driver from Windsor, Maine, Andy Santerre.
Well, he's been making his way up through the field. Santerre's really got his car working.
Boy, I'm impressed. I tell you what, he is a very young guy, and he acts like he's been here before. I tell you what, that's some driving there.
Santerre finished back in 23rd here in the spring.
Like Neil said, they learn fast. Passing on the outside.
He's been thinking about the last couple of laps. He takes a look to that outside, but the wall sure jumps up in a hurry out there.
You look at that car in front of you on the wall and you decide no about the time you think yes.
It's so easy to come off of a flat track like this and let that car jump into that wall before you know it. Look here comes Bessie right in the middle of the deal now.
Joe Bessie up to 3rd, having gone around Kenny Schrader, and now is right on the tail of the leaders. That was a big jump.
I can't help but believe the 47 car of Kelly Moore has slowed down a little bit for these other 2 guys to really bunch up on him. There's Bessie going to the outside.
The hard way.
Packed house here at New Hampshire. Bigger crowd expected tomorrow for the Winston Cup race. A race that after they took care of preferred reserve seat ticket holders, the remaining seats sold out for Winston Cup Day in 3 hours.
I tell you, everywhere we go, every radio station says, do not go to the racetrack. They're sold out. It's probably as serious a campaign if I heard not to sell tickets.
Yeah. Santerre gets just about close enough to put yellow paint on Kelly Moore's car, but not quite. We are 1/3 distance in the 150 here in New Hampshire with the modifieds to follow.
This is the medal Schlitz just won at the Great American Beer Festival. Schlitz won Best American Lager Beer, beating several major brands. We're proud of this medal, but we're even more proud of the quality and great taste of Schlitz beer. So choose what the judges at the Great American Beer Festival chose. Schlitz, the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
Son of a gun protectant. Nothing works better on your car's leather, vinyl, and rubber. It can turn just about anything into a great-looking car.
Nice car.
What, this pile of junk?
Give it the gun with Son of a Gun. And now give your tires a quick kick with one-step tire care.
This is friction. Metal grinding on metal. Friction can wear your engine down. Friction can shorten its life. This is Pennzoil, the friction-fighting motor oil that protects more engines than any other motor oil in America. Choose Pennzoil. Use Pennzoil, and you'll get quality engine protection in each and every drop. Pennzoil. Performance, protection, quality.
A safari rarely lasts longer than a few weeks, unless it's a safari maintained with genuine AC oil filters, because over hill, dale, and wadi, no other filter can track down, trap, and capture more dirt. So, AC oil filters keep your engine in the hunt for a longer life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time.
When it's a matter of survival, it's AC filters.
TNN Motorsports exclusive coverage of the Auto Palace Slick 5150 is brought to you by AC Delco. It's like buying time.
Well, welcome back to New Hampshire International Speedway. And pole sitter Jamie Obey, that tire smoker, the smoking problem has caused NASCAR to bring him into the pit. Right now, it looks like, in fact, I can smell it. That's oil smoke, folks. So it's a lot worse than what they thought. He's going to be in the pits for a while, Mike.
Thanks, Lynn. Andy Santerre smells the lead.
Yeah, and not only smell it, he just took it. It's going to smell a lot better out front out there. And look at Bessie. We've talked over and over about somebody taking advantage of moving him over. He's wanting to go by when they made that pass, but he couldn't quite get by him.
Here comes Dick McCabe then. McCabe and Schrader.
There's no doubt the 47 car slowed the line down. Evidently he was falling off. And look what a group of cars is able to get right there for the lead now.
Joe Bessie's gives several cars a real break here, but I tell you, he was up under the lead car twice a while ago, and he had a choice of touching the car or backing off and falling back in line. I think Joe Bessie's the fastest car in the field, though.
Seems to be right now, though. I'm not counting out the fellow they've won. Oh, Earnhardt. There's trouble. Right front. See something dragging underneath the car. Everything's dragging.
He's got a flat tire.
Yep. Keeps it way up and out of the groove. Can he get down to the pit lane? That's the question.
Going up the back straightaway. Big piece of rubber on the back straightaway that time.
Staying green. Earnhardt's going to run it in on the rim.
Got it.
And now there's trouble in the back straightaway. Our
Caution's out now.
Caution's out now. Here they come to the flag. There's the debris on the racetrack that has caused the caution flag, and here they come running to the line. McCabe underneath Santerre. Now they've slowed it down. They do not race back to the flag in the Busch North Series.
Well, Daryl Earnhardt is in. He's definitely going to go a lap down. It was a right front tire that he cut down. They took a little, or added a little bite to the car. Earnhardt was a little bit loose. He gets a cool drink. They've got a new one-pump jack on this car. Of course, this doesn't help him on this pit stop, but something that they're working on, trying to get the car off the ground in one pump. Taking a look at the left pit side tires now. They've got it back down. There's definitely a problem here now. I'll have to check and see what it is, guys.
Trying to get Earnhardt squared away and back into this race. There will be pit stops during this caution flag. We'll be back to have a look at them after this.
You'll find great country sounds coming out of the Great Plains on the Statler Brothers Show, only on TNN tonight. Monday, one of country's most exciting new groups, the Dixie Chicks.
He's stealing hearts and leaving them all over town. He's an old good timing son of a gun.
And singer-songwriter Tim O'Brien. The Dixie Chicks, Tim O'Brien, together in concert. The Texas Connection from Fiesta, Texas and San Antonio. TNN, the Nashville Network, Monday. Kelly Willis grew up in the shadow of the Pentagon.
I'll be around to you. I know better now.
A move to Austin, Texas brought her closer than most to Patsy Cline's spirit, says Rolling Stone magazine. Kelly Willis headlines, Kevin Welch guest stars at the Barns of Wolf Trap on the American Music Shop. Only on TNN, the Nashville Network, Tuesday.
Race leader Kelly Moore is on pit road taking on tires, as are many, but not quite all of the leaders. Let's show you again what happened to Dale Earnhardt, as Earnhardt is back on the track when he cut down a right front tire.
He was coming off corner and tires down. Ooh, he did bounce it off the wall right there. Got in the wall a little bit off that corner. See the right front tire down on the car.
You can see it coming apart. There's pieces flying back behind the car. Nice still there.
Well, he's back up and running again. Up around side of Jeff Spraker, New York State driver.
You know, most tracks we go to, if anyone's going to have a tire problem on the right front, it's usually Earnhardt. He's notorious for running the car really hard down in the corner, and he ran it in there so hard a couple times it looked like he just exploded that right front, buddy.
Well, back in Dover, you know, he knocked him off the rim there. He drove so hard.
Yeah, and he was the only guy up there doing it that time.
We'll check scoring, but according to our unofficial rundown, Earnhardt is 1 lap off the pace.
It looked to me like as he came in, turned down pit road, they did come around. When that caution came out, he could have made it around, but I don't think the car could have survived it. Some people say,
right,
why wouldn't he have stayed out? But it was dragging so bad, it probably drug the headers and everything off.
Also, the slow car on the backstretch as we went to caution was Shauna Robinson. They'd taken that car to the garage area. Bob Bear and the folks here at New Hampshire have done an awful lot to ensure the comfort and convenience of the fans. And one thing you don't see very often, down here below the grandstand, they've got the sprinklers on full blast so folks can come in and get a little cool, wet respite from the heat up there in the grandstand.
See where I'm fixing to go. I'll be right back. Would it go good with my tie on?
I'm not sure. If the colors in that tie bleed, folks will have to adjust their sets. Oh, me. Well, now here's the question. Did Andy Santerre, by not coming in to get tires when the leaders did, was that the right move?
I really don't know how hard these tires are, but I think he made a mistake. I know at Martinsville there's a tremendous amount of difference in new tires and old. And you know, the Moore car, he come in right away and took on tires. So we're going to see something now. Santerre stayed out, and I think it might have been a mistake.
Okay, let's go down to Randy Pemberton.
Reggie Jarrow's sitting on pit road. He's about ready to get ready for the modified race now. He was a lap down before he came onto pit road to change tires, and they have stripped the stud on the right front tire, or the right front wheel, and they're having all kinds of trouble. They can't get the lug nut on or off, so Reggie kind of stuck in the pits here.
Tough day for the driver out of Forestville, Connecticut. Holds numerous modified championships and trying to win his first national titles this year in the modified.
And the way that call goes is if it does not have 5 lug nuts on it, they will not let the car back on the racetrack. They would probably run from now on the rest with 4 lug nuts on here, but you must have all 5 of them on just as a safety feature.
Getting ready for the restart here. Lapped cars to the inside. And we're lined up there with Dick McCabe up there with Kelly Moore. In second and third, Mike Stefanik is he's on the leaderboard. So we're coming down for the restart. 67 laps. There's Earnhardt getting his lap back.
That's new tires on Earnhardt's car. We'll get to see. Of course, he might have done some damage to the front end of the car. You hear somebody say he just barely hit the wall. There's no such thing.
Yeah, he bounced it off there pretty good. It's hard to tell. I was surprised that once he made that lead, that pass for lead, he couldn't hold it. But that 15 car has been plenty strong.
So Earnhardt trying to scoot away from the 3 leaders. Andy Santerre he's leading this race. He's still looking for his first career top 5 finish in Busch North, and he is out in front.
Well, you see the 4th car there in line, that's Kelly Moore, and he come in for tires, so I think he's going to be tough for sure.
That's the Makita Tool car for Moore. That's black number 47.
Santerre's not just giving up a whole lot of ground on those old tires. Kind of surprised me. I felt like those guys we knew would just jump around him and leave. But he's not giving that thing up.
That's why they call it a track tire. It's extremely hard, so they won't have tire problems with them. You know, like blisters and things that we worry about when you have the compound that's perfect for the racetrack. So who knows?
Now, the term track tire comes from short track racing, where the track will mandate that everybody runs one particular tire, one compound, and they set it at a fixed price for the season in the effort of controlling costs.
Like they also, on the tire, usually has a compound number on the tires on these cars, it just says Bush North. That's the compound.
That's it. There's Ken Schrader in the yellow 01. He's the teammate of this man in the black car, Dick McCabe, defending champ of the series. They've long called him the Irish Angel up here, but there's nothing angelic about his aggressive driving style. Look at him kick that thing out.
He's got to try that outside. It looks like he pulled up beside him out there. Now the trick is you can get out there, but can you go on around?
The answer coming, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait just a second. We'll have an answer
We have
for
to
you
make
here.
sure he can make the curve down here, not side by side, and he should get a little bit more run off that corner on that outside lane.
Now, there's a big difference in the first part of the race. You can run the outside now, so that you can pass a lot easier. It's going to make for a better race.
Oh, me, got in there really hard, trying to get that distance he needed down on the car, and drove it out there and got that loose stuff. Had his hands full for just a minute.
Neil, it's tough here, especially down in 1 and 2, because this is almost a four-cornered racetrack like Indy. You go down in that corner and you make that turn, and it's almost like a short straightaway between 3 and 4, and between 1 and 2. McCabe gets in that gas a little early, and there's still a whole lot more corner left.
You're right. You make that first initial turn, you make that commitment with the throttle, and then you got to really crank the car one more time.
What's the old saying? Three's a crowd? Well, it's a crowd right now.
Kelly Moore coming up to make it a three-way battle. Andy Santerre raced Super Sportsman, they called it, at Speedway 95 in Bangor, Maine in 89 and 90. Won the ACT American-Canadian Tour rookie race in 1991 and won some open competition pro stock races last season, 5 of them. Works for his dad's wrecker and trucking service.
Well, guys, another aspect of this tire situation, Quint Beauvais, the crew chief of car of number 7, told me that the harder McCrary tires are picking up the soft Goodyear rubber that's on the racetrack in the Winston Cup cars. It actually made their car pretty tight, so that might be why we're seeing Andy Santerre be able to go so long. His car, picking up that softer rubber, is able to go longer, just not seeing the tire wear that you normally see because these tires are so hard to begin with, making a lot of these cars tight. A little bit of an unusual situation.
Very interesting. Kelly Moore up to second. Here's Dick McCabe trying to hold off Joe Bessie for third and not having a lot of luck doing that.
We've seen Joe Bessie all day able to make that move right there like Buddy's talking about. Get up there, and then he's pretty darn polite. He's not hit anybody yet. He'll get up under him, and then he seems to give them just a little bit of room when they try to close in on him.
McCabe, defending champ, also won the NASCAR North title in 81 and 82. Here's Mike McLaughlin, who was 27th after they waved the caution flag and pulled into the pits for tires. He is now battling Mike Stefanik for 5th place.
I tell you what, you know, we heard our pit guys tell us that he would like to put a rubber in that right front. Bodine's down there talking with him and trying to figure out what to do. He must have made a major change on that car because it's coming to him now.
I bet Stefanik wished he'd worked on his car like the other cars have been working. I tell you, those are major changes. When you start moving that track bar and things like that, that car was extremely loose, but he's flying now.
Kenny Schrader, a yellow Fisher snowplow car. That's the other Dick McCabe car. He's just gone by Mike Stefanik. That's for 6th. Ron Lamell was in the top 10, but his machine is now on pit road with the hood up. Schrader and Stefanik, former national modified champion. His late older brother Bob Stefanik, many times a track champion and 500 winner at Agawam, Mass.
Can you imagine how these modified drivers feel to get out of their cars and jump in a 6-cylinder after having that great big old motor sitting out in front of them with his big tires on it? It's got to be a different feel for them.
Wow, I'm looking at Santerre. He's fixing to put a lap on Earnhardt, so he must have had his another.
Car in the apron, Mark Purcell takes a ride down the road course inside of turns 3 and 4.
He's already tried that one time before today. He was in an incident down in the first corner right at the first of the race. I made a neat figure. Now I'll put the steering wheel on the other end of this thing.
Santerre is trying to put Earnhardt one lap down again, but look at the shuffle he's going to have for the lead here. Reggie Ruggiero back on pit road. Earnhardt up high, Kelly Moore and Dick McCabe and Joe Bessie down low.
See, Earnhardt, he knows he hurt his car, and he's just riding this thing out now.
AC Delco Auto Parts, available for almost any vehicle to help your car or truck last and last, brings you the mid-race recap. 3 different leaders, 2 lead changes. 26 cars still running on the lead lap here from the 41 that started. 3 caution flags, brief ones. Average speed 92 miles an hour. AC Delco, like buying time.
Santerra's trying to make this thing look easy on those old tires.
He better not think it's too easy. Kelly Moore's right on the back right now, and I tell you, that car's humping around the bottom part of that racetrack.
Since 1987, when Busch Beer picked up the sponsorship of this series,
right
Kelly Moore 10 wins, and around again goes Purcell. Everybody gets by. Moving chicane there for a minute. Caution is out. Mark Purcell going around.
It looks like Santerra got in the back of a lap car as that group went down in turn 3.
Everybody back underway. See who the caution car picks up as the leader. Looks like Kelly Moore will have the front spot over Bessie, and then Santerra.
Santerra we see on the inside pulling back up to the front.
The rest of the leaders will likely make pit stops here, and Santerra is probably headed for the pace car and pit road. We'll find out when we come back to New Hampshire after this.
You about finished? How's it going? Great. We have a lot of good mechanics that shop at AutoZone. Well, you also have a lot of people who just want to save some money by doing a simple job themselves, like changing their oil or putting in new plugs. They just want to come in, get what they need, and get out. Well, at AutoZone, we have parts for just about every car made. So if you know what you want, great. But if you're not quite sure about something, no problem. We'll help. After all, that's what we're here for.
Most trackers can follow the trail only as long as the weather holds out. Unless it's a tracker spurred on with genuine AC spark plugs. AC plugs fire faster than lightning for performance so smooth, even the thunder claps. And that'll keep your engine on the trail to a longer life. AC Delco. It's like buying time. So better track down some AC spark plugs.
The best defense is not to offend. Thus, introducing the new Right Guard Sports Stick. Now with a time-release formula for longer-lasting protection against hostile odor all day. For protection that endures.
Don't wait. Get the news weekly of motoring, Auto Week. Don't wait for driving impressions. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. Don't wait for car news. Auto Week covers the world. Auto shows, the new, the old, and brings it to you fast. Don't wait for racing news. Get the news weekly of motoring. Auto Week brings you the winningest coverage first. Don't wait. Get Auto Week, the news weekly of motoring, now. Call 1-800-851-2600 for this TV race weekend special. Get Auto Week at the lowest price ever, $17.95 for 52 issues. But don't wait. This offer expires midnight on Monday. Get Auto Week at the lowest price ever. Call 1-800-851-2600.
Celebrate summer, starring Pat Boone, Gary Morris, Charlie Pride, Glenn Campbell, and McLean Stevenson, with music and highlights from this year's Crosby National Celebrity Golf Tournament, the 1993 Crosby Clam Bake, TNN Monday.
We're back at New Hampshire International Speedway. It's a triple-header racing weekend. We're in the middle of the Busch North Auto Palace Slick 50 150, the NASCAR modified 40-lap shootout. You'll also see that live today on TNN as soon as this race is over. We're under caution. Let's show you again what happened right in front of the leaders.
You see Kelly Moore going down in the corner. Santerra never touched him. He just broke loose. I mean, just going in the corner hard, and the car turned around. This is your lead 3 cars, and everybody's trying to find a way. You see Joe Bessie go under there.
On the lap car of Mark Purcell spinning. Here's another look.
Like you said, but he just turned the thing around right in front of the leaders.
I think he might have been aware the leaders were behind him, and he tried to go through the corner and not create a problem, and created one.
Here's Glenn.
Well, Mike, one of the drivers we see each week on the NASCAR Busch Series is Shauna Robinson. She had her Polaroid Captiva car here in short day. Shauna, what happened?
Well, it's been a frustrating season so far, but, you know, we got to do everything we can to keep Polaroid Captiva behind us, and we just had a short day. It blew a motor. Car was running real good. You know, all I was doing was driving as hard as I could and passing cars, but it just didn't last long enough this time. But we'll go to Talladega with a good attitude.
Okay, better luck there, Mike.
Thanks, Glenn. Getting ready for the restart here. Martin Truex started 37th. He's now up running in the 9th position. Runs the New York Stater. Now let's kind of get the restart lineup sorted out here at turn 4. We're about to go green. Kelly Moore, the leader. That's Babe Branscombe. I think that's our camera car right there, about to overrun the Corvette pace car. No, check that. Down the front straightaway, the lap car on the inside was Stub Fadden. Number 16 car, white machine. Splitting up the leaders there. Field standing update brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Okay, lap cars away. There's Fadden battling Kenny Schrader. And Kelly Moore on the front.
Kelly Moore's had a fast car all day long. He's trying to work his way to the front. He's got it up there now.
Trying to keep Earnhardt a lap back.
Earnhardt wants that lap back pretty bad. He's made 3 or 4 passes down the front straightaway trying to get by there.
Trying to get on the inside, where you get that inside lane and try to make that pass for the lead.
Oh, it wouldn't fit. He got it. Earnhardt got it under there, and it wouldn't quite fit.
I want to know something, Neil. He said toe in and all was off before the caution there and after the caution. Can he adjust that thing from the inside? It looks like it's working pretty well now.
Had it down off the racetrack on the flat apron part.
I think he just adjusted it from the inside outside.
Yeah, we had our pit guys had talked to him during the caution. They said they had the toe end knocked out on the car. Might have readjusted it that time.
Tough break for talented rookie Andy Santerre. NASCAR said he passed cars under the caution. Stop and go penalties on pit road now. Ooh. He's going to pull back out and stay on the lead lap, but just barely.
Boy, Joe Bessie is completely sideways coming off the fourth. He's doing just great job to get the car back under control.
That gives Kelly Moore, George Lumber car, just a bit of breathing room. And Earnhardt just into the back of Joe Bessie there, loosening him up a little.
There's Schrader on the outside, though.
And here comes Mike McLaughlin. Made that early pit stop, made 2 pit stops to work on the car. From 27th, he's up to 5th in that 51 car. And Dick McCabe right with him.
Okay, McCabe's got 2 good race cars on the track. Schrader's car and both of those cars running well.
I'll show you this with Earnhardt and Kelly Moore once again.
Ooh. Yeah, got together getting down in that corner right there. It's a wonder both of them didn't go around.
Yeah, but he made contact there, but you notice he didn't hit him the second time, and that's very important to a race car driver. If he meant to take him out, he hit him the second time.
I bet that changed the tow out.
He might need to adjust it.
89 laps, 88 laps complete.
Yeah, we saw Schrader early in the race get a great battle with the leaders. And then after that last caution, he kind of fell back, but he's right back in the middle of it again.
Jamie Obey drops to the inside.
Yeah, they blacked him with a smoking problem. Evidently they fixed that. He's right behind these 2 cars. There's Morgan Shepherd in the 21.
That's Reggie Ruggiero in the Pyroil car, the number 13. Painted up much like his modified.
Gerald gets around. Shepherd gets down in the corner. Bessie's trying for that lead. He was up there right on the inside of the 47, trying to take the lead away from Kelly Moore.
That Ruggiero car is going to spend a lot of time on pit road with that lug nut problem. That strip stud. He's about 14 laps down as he battled Morgan Shepherd.
Kelly Moore's got to make mistakes going back passing. He's running just about what you call a perfect line around the racetrack to keep anybody from passing low or high.
Just trying to to become the 8th different winner on this tour this season. He has 2 second-place finishes, hasn't yet won.
Buddy, just as you said that, you could see as he came off the second turnover, he gives him that outside lane. He's not coming out, sliding out the hole. He's coming out and giving the outside. If you want to go around him, that's out there. But he's not going to let you have that inside unless he makes a mistake like you're talking about.
That's kind of like fool's gold out there, though. It shines, but it's not real.
It's real, but it's hard. You try it, don't make it.
Bessie getting a little loose. You come around the corner here, and the corner looks so long and so wide, it looks like you got all day and all kinds of room to work with here.
You see Earnhardt move over and let Schrader go by. This is going to be a 3-car race here in just a second.
Kelly Moore led more races than anybody this year. And since this became the Busch North Tour, he's the leading race winner with 10. Not this season, not yet.
During the course of this race, but you said several times that Bessie might have the best car. I'm not so sure he does it there because he's run up on them. Even when they get on him before, he's been able to hold them on. But Schrader's pretty determined. He gets inside, he might take it. And they're taking a look on the inside. Bessie's car slips the rear up off the corner, but it doesn't seem to hurt him that bad. He still keeps going.
Everybody knows how to save the tires and all. These guys up north know how. But I tell you, when you cut your teeth in modifieds and things like that, you learn to soft pedal those boys off the corner.
Yeah, because you're dealing with so much horsepower all the time in those modified race cars, and you just can't turn the tires over because you'll burn them off. And like you say, it's good training for him.
Well, Schrader runs every night, so he's in this group too. I'm gonna tell you, if anybody knows how to preserve tires, he knows how.
Well, he's not preserving much. He's got the snowplow rolling here.
I think he ran last night down in Lee, New Hampshire on the 3rd-mile trial.
I was out looking at snowplows. I was thinking about buying one after last winter.
You live in Alabama.
I know, but we had a 1.5 foot last winter too.
Once a century down there.
But I'd have the only one in Alabama, though. See?
That's for sure.
It looks like Earnhardt dropping to the inside.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, they had said that the toe end was out. Plus, there was some kind of rattling in the rear end. I don't know what's rattling, but it looks like it's finally over.
Lobster shell.
There's sparks. You can see sparks coming off that thing as he turned on pit road.
Well, this is unbelievable. We were talking about it before, about how Earnhardt drives the car into the corner so deep. Looks like a right front tire, I think. You know, the radio said I got one soft on the right-hand side. He didn't even know which one it was. But,
you know, we talked about the top show that you have you can use 2 tires, but I think if you have a problem like that one blew out, they allow you another one. So I don't know how many tires he can put on with a deal like that.
You see that right door on Earnhardt's car? Looked like a bulldog had been in there. I think they need to put a zipper on that thing so you can just change them real quick.
Like those stadium trucks. They run one heat race and they put a body on it.
Right. Kelly Moore leads Ken Schrader. Joe Bessie and Mike McLaughlin is now the 4th place car.
Schrader's really made up a good bit of distance once he got around Joe Bessie. Reeling that leader in now.
You know, Joe Bessie's impressive, though. He got past, but he's pulling back up on Schrader now. I tell you, that car is really strong. I don't know whether he's maybe saving a little bit for the very end here.
Talking about strong, Mike McLaughlin is right behind this pack of cars. Now, he was out to lunch when this race started. He had to move the track bar up. He had to put a rubber in the right front spring. But they've worked at it all day, and he's right in a chance to win this race.
Somebody needs to get McLaughlin a Busch ride down south. 3rd place, Joe Bessie. It's 95 degrees here in New Hampshire. Does that heat bother these northern drivers against their southern counterparts, perhaps? We asked Joe Bessie.
I would say a little bit, mainly because they won't prepare for it like they should. It's just not common practice up here to put a lot of air into the car, and so they may just assume they'll be fine, and the heat could take the toll on some of the drivers.
Why use Valvoline motor oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics. Daytona 500 chief mechanics. NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics for use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
The laboratories of 2001 announce a major breakthrough in auto protectant technology, Formula 2001 Super Protectant. Its advanced SunStop formula helps protect against the sun's UV rays, extreme temperatures, and moisture, which cause fading, drying, and cracking. What's more, independent lab tests prove Formula 2001 provides a more brilliant, longer-lasting shine than Armor All on vinyl and leather. But what if your car's surfaces are already faded? We went to the Arizona desert to put Formula 2001 Super Protectant to the ultimate test. Watch what happens to UV faded vinyl, rubber, even dried faded leather. Get the new standard in automotive protectant technology, the one with 50% more active shining ingredients than Armor All. Formula 2001 Super Protectant with a fresh leather fragrance. And for the unique demands of tire care, get new Formula 2001 Tire Foam and Shine. Just spray and walk away. Get 2001 at these fine stores.
Exclusive coverage of the Auto Palace Slick 5150 on the Nashville Network is brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Everything's been happening while we've been away. Ken Schrader has gone to the lead, taking it from Kelly Moore. And an instant ago, Mike McLaughlin got third. Here's the pass for the lead.
And boy, what a jumbled up pass. They were in a lot of traffic here. Schrader got to the inside. And look at Bessie. Bessie says, hey, I'm going with you. They come down in the corner here. Schrader keeps that inside line. He's able to take the lead coming off turn 2. Well, they got together a little bit right in the middle of that corner.
Bessie's just a little bit loose coming off the corner there, and then he just can't make the moves that he wants to make. I think that's the reason he's back to third again.
One lap after that, Mike McLaughlin got past Bessie, and that took third spot away. Dale Earnhardt has taken his car to the garage. NASCAR had given him a stop-and-go penalty for being too fast down pit road. Earnhardt pulled in, contemplated for a moment that he'd already cut down or worn out 3 right front tires, and pulled it in the garage. We'll hope to get a word with him in a bit here. 105 laps on the board. Ken Schrader driving the Fisher Snowplows Pontiac 01, leading the Jordan Lumber Makita Tool Chevy of Kelly Moore 47. Mike McLaughlin in the Coors Oldsmobile 51, and Dick McCabe along Fisher Plows Pontiac number 0. Up to 5th place. After starting well deep in the field, back in 13th spot is Greg Clark from Old Chatham, New York, the Comp USA Chevy number 45.
Kelly Moore's car is much faster than Schrader. I think he got him on a little move there. I think the 47 car by far is a faster car, but Schrader is just, you know, he's relentless. He never gives up, and it's going to be tough to get by him.
Yeah, that pass we saw earlier was in lap traffic with a lot when things got stacked up. I'm like you, that Kelly Moore car really seems to be quick.
Andy Santerre, meanwhile, the rookie that was leading this race, he got a stop-and-go penalty and was almost lapped by the leaders. He has now distanced Kenny Schrader by more than a straightaway, but will need a caution to catch up.
I'll tell you, the guy that's taking away here's these 2 guys. They're going at it pretty tough. Mike McLaughlin right there in that 51 car. Good headsy race car driver. He says, guys, go at it, chew them up, burn them down. When you get through, I'll see if I can get around. Talk about going around. Here's one spinning down here.
Scott DeWare. Pace Trailers Pontiac. That will bring out the caution. It's his first year on the Busch Series. He and I battled here last September, traded the lead 14 times, and a lot of paint, a lot of fiberglass and stuff. Pretty good road racer.
You've raced here a good little bit.
Yeah, it's a fun place. It
yeah,
really
you won. You didn't brag. You're supposed to brag when you win.
Yeah.
I don't.
I was going to say, he's the only guy that's won up here. In the booth up here, for sure.
If he's on the road course, he had a real good chance of beating me and you.
We're under caution once again in New Hampshire. 109 laps complete. We'll be right back.
The sign of good things to come. TNN Outdoors, this Saturday and Sunday. Monday, one of country's most exciting new groups, the Dixie Chicks.
He's stealing hearts and leaving them all over town. He's an old good time son of a gun.
And singer-songwriter Tim O'Brien. The Dixie Chicks, Tim O'Brien, together in concert. The Texas Connection from Fiesta, Texas and San Antonio. TNN, the Nashville Network, Monday. Kelly Willis grew up in the shadow of the Pentagon.
I'll be round to you. I know better now.
A move to Austin, Texas brought her closer than most to Patsy Cline's spirit, says Rolling Stone magazine. Kelly Willis headlines, Kevin Welch guest stars at the Barns of Wolf Trap on the American Music Shop. Only on TNN, the Nashville Network, Tuesday.
High above New Hampshire International Speedway, our aerial coverage being provided by Ray Bestis, the best in brakes. You see the packed house here at Loudon, New Hampshire. As they circulate under caution, 110 laps are complete. Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, Dale Earnhardt out of his car, actually over at the motorhome. Dale, not too good a day for you. You had a couple of cut tires. Tell me about the scenario here.
Well, we blistered that first tire and busted it, and got in the right rear in the wall when we came off the corner. And it must have bent something or just a little bit, but it's okay on fresh tires, but it had that vibration to it. And then we came back and got right and went back out, and they said we'd run too fast on pit road. Says, well, I'm a lap down. I'm going to be 2 laps down, 3 laps down. You know, no points, and I didn't want to tear the car on up. I got to run the car back up here in the next race, so it'll be on radial. So the tires are just off for the car. Really, the car is probably a radial type tire car. So you know, this is a bad day. Not a bad day, but not a good day for us.
What about the competition in this? There's some young guns out there doing pretty well.
Well, them boys are real strong. They run this tire every week, and this, you know, the McQuarrie's, and Schrader's in a good race car, and he looks strong right now. So, you know, it could be Schrader's race, but his car owner's running pretty close behind him there.
Well, I know you wanted to stay healthy for tomorrow. Dale, you messed up a little qualifying, but I know your car's good, and that's probably why you did it. You drove pretty hard to qualify, but
well,
car's running good.
Overdrove it a little bit, and just anticipating and running fast enough to be on the pole, and just goofed up, really. But the car's running real good and consistent, and, you know, maybe we'll be okay tomorrow. I feel good about tomorrow. The car's consistent. That's what, you know, it takes to win a race. So if we can just be there all day.
Okay, that'd be win number 5. Mike Joy?
Well, Dale hopes to be the first Winston Cup winner on the nation's newest speedway, and he left his calling card on the wall there. Who was the first NASCAR Busch winner here? Tommy Ellis won the first race here. Here's Scott DeWare back on track. I'll show you what happened to him. Turn 1.
It's going down the corner here on the inside. Ooh, got a little bit of help right there. He's running pretty slow there, and car coming in and really tagged him from the rear. Thank you, sir. I think I'll go around.
That was Greg Clark that ran in the back of him. I tell you what, when you hit somebody in the right rear like that and you turn them loose, they'll do the rest themselves, believe me.
Clark was the 5th place car. Here's Glenn Sullivan's car out of Norwich, Connecticut. Sullivan has just climbed out of the car due to the heat. Brian Ross, who won the race at Holland, New York, once finished 3rd in the ARCA 200 at Daytona in Kenny Schrader's cars. They're getting his gloves on and getting strapped in and take over for Sullivan and go the rest of the way. Ross is a good modified driver, and he's had some success on the Busch North Tour. Was one of the 10 cars that didn't quite make the show for this race today.
You're talking about cars that didn't make the show. They had a tremendous turnout up here in cars. This race, a lot of really good cars had to go to the house.
38 laps to go. Ken Schrader up front. Kelly Moore in 47 in 2nd. Mike McLaughlin 51 in 3rd. And as Earnhardt pointed out, Schrader's car owner, Dick McCabe, is sitting in 4th in the 0 car.
I think Earnhardt might know something we don't know, because he talked about McCabe being real strong. He's been out there, y'all don't know.
I still don't think we've seen all that Mike McLaughlin has to play in that Coors car. Down to the inside comes Reggie Ruggiero, a bunch of laps down in that red Pyroil car. As the 3 leaders scored away.
Well,
McLaughlin's got to be careful here. He just don't want to lose sight of these leaders and not work his car hard and let these other two really race hard for about 15 or 20 laps. And it looks like they're racing pretty hard.
It doesn't get any harder than this. Kelly Moore goes back up front. Pinches the car, turns it down, and takes the low side away from Schrader. He's going to come back at him on the outside.
Well, I tell you, when he came off the corner, he came off so low, I thought he was having a problem, but the car really accelerated him off that corner.
Remember, Kelly Moore did that when he was trying to hold off Joe Bessie and the 15 of Andy Santerre. He'd come off the corner way on the bottom.
Feels McLaughlin losing sight of those guys. There's not a class in the world that can help him stay.
He's got to keep sight, because I'm telling you, these guys they know just like we do. There's not much time left in this thing. You better do it right now. But look how good that car, 47 car, is getting off that corner. The other two sliding out the wall. He's driving right up off the bottom. Here comes that McLaughlin trying to make that move on Schrader. We've been anticipating this. Kenny gave him that inside lane. He thought he had a nose under him. He's out enough that McLaughlin can get the car up under him right here.
And here he comes. Back straightaway, Mike McLaughlin.
Boy, how the course of a race changes. 51 car, we wouldn't give 10 cents for it. First this race, they were off on chassis so much, and the crew really done a good job for him all day.
Well, Mike, you know all these teams. He must have a tremendous team to be able to fix a car that far off in this short a distance.
Mike Ricci, his crew chief, worked a long time on the modifieds. One of his former drivers, Ray Miller, is here to watch today. And there's the pass between the two long Pontiac team cars. Dick McCabe going past Kenny Schrader. McCabe running for points here. Schrader is not. As we give you a Napa Field Standing update, brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. So McLaughlin may have something here for Kelly Moore. He is closing in. Mike McLaughlin from Waterloo, New York, first came to national prominence in a dirt modified car, Norm Foster's potato wagon, they called it. He had some very bright white driving shoes. He's a rather short of stature fella, about 5'5". They began to call him Magic Shoes in upstate New York. He pedaled his way to a number of victories there. Came to the modified tour, drove for the Ferrazzo brothers and the Sherry Cup team out of Kensington, Connecticut. Clyde McLeod was his crew chief, who now works with Todd Bodine on the Busch South Tour. McLaughlin won a national championship, chasing down Kelly Moore, winningest Busch North driver in the 5-year history of that tour.
Car of his working right around the bottom of this racetrack all day long. Almost a car length lower than anyone up off the corner. That really saves those tires. Ooh. It almost makes you wonder. McLaughlin moved up there. I thought he was going to be able to close up. It almost makes you wonder as he had to overextend his car just a little bit because McCabe's coming in on him now.
You see McCabe moving up like that. I think of the story that they tell about Junior Johnson telling Waltrip that halfway, they're giving away a big prize for leading the halfway lap. And Waltrip said he's running in 10th place, and Junior said, "Okay, Waltrip, go on up there and get that prize."
It's a little bit harder at times than going up to the rest of the way.
31 laps to go. Front four, Kelly Moore, Mike McLaughlin, Dick McCabe, and Kenny Schrader.
I tell you, McCabe's car looks like it's working on the bottom as well as the leader right now.
Greg Clark, the 5th place driver, still looking for his first top 10 finish this year, so great run for him. 12th at Stafford Springs. There's his 45 car, and Joe Bessie right behind him.
Yeah, the 45 was the car that ran in the back of the car and spun a while ago, and you can see the damage over on the right front. It might not be much, but sometimes it doesn't take much to upset these cars, but as he's been coming along here, he's been gaining and gaining and gaining on these leaders, so I don't think he's hurt the car that bad very dynamically.
The last caution was a break for Andy Santerre, the rookie who led up near the halfway point. He's now up to 12th place. There's your 5th place runner, Greg Clark.
You see the first 7 place cars, they're running exactly the same times around this racetrack. My hat's off to them on this track tire. I'm real impressed that the competition is this tight.
Look at McCabe with the black car right behind McLaughlin. He gets that run in the middle of the corner. It looks like he can pull up, and McLaughlin's car is really good down the straightaway. It kind of goes back and forth. One guy looks like, hey, he's got it. And now McLaughlin, we talked about him maybe fading, and now he's pulling back up on the leader again. just going back and forth.
Dick McCabe, one of the NASCAR North's winningest drivers ever.
Yeah, you see Schrader moving up on him. Schrader looked like he'd worn his tires out and was headed for the rear, and all of a sudden he's coming back again. I think what they do is realize they got the tires hot, to ease out for a little bit, and come back and make another run at it.
Schrader better be careful. That's the boss's car. He's up there. About to put his permit on him.
McCabe also, oldest driver in the field, 59 years old, and still winning.
God bless him.
Schrader's really moved in. Looked like McCabe's car fell off just a little bit. He slipped a couple times off the corner. Schrader's right there with him now. McLaughlin is either stretching it out or McCabe's backing up just a little bit to get some distance.
Well, I'm standing by with Glenn Sullivan. He was driving car number 34, but he's had to get out for relief. Glenn, tell us what happened.
Yesterday I had a van door closed on my elbow, and it was okay during the race. You know, I went down and got whirlpool treatments last night and stuff, and it felt pretty good. I could move it. It hurt, you know, but during the race, you know, going through the corners, having to turn the car a lot, as the car started getting loose, I didn't have much of a choice. It got to the point where I couldn't use my arm anymore. So I let my arm sit on the side of the car and driving right-handed. And Ryan Ross was sitting here, he's a good friend of mine, and the car was good, but I was holding the car back. I thought if Brian got in the car, he could run real well. You know, we need a good finish here, and we're doing halfway to the point. I thought Brian getting in the car could really get the car going, because I could only use one hand, and it was starting to hurt a lot. They said I passed the pace car, but I did not pass the pace car.
Okay, well, he's got relief out there now, and I think he'll be okay for the next race.
Thanks, Glenn. Here's Mike McLaughlin. He's renewed his charge on Kelly Moore. And right behind them, the two Dick McCabe cars are side by side for third place. Schrader says, sorry, boss. We need the money.
That's pretty smart on McCabe's part, too, not to fight him, because you could tell that Schrader had saved his tires a little bit, and he was faster. So that's the thing to do. You can make a run at him later when you cool your tires.
Looks like a run's being made right now for the lead. McLaughlin is reeling back in. 47, Kelly Moore. McLaughlin's really working hard right now. I haven't seen that 47 get off the bottom of that racetrack all day.
No, right tight around the bottom. McLaughlin has won this year at Stafford Springs, Connecticut. Kelly Moore has not. This series going road racing twice this year. They had a great run up at Watkins Glen, New York, and there'll be a second race up in northwestern Connecticut to close out the season. Here is Santerre. He's battling Martin Truex, and he is back in the top 10. He just took 9th place away. So after that stop-and-go penalty, fortunately the caution flag saved him. He got to catch back up to the field, and now he is up to 9th spot.
It won't be long before we see this guy come a little bit south, I think. He's got a lot of talent. You know, he's really up in the points. He's 9th in the points right now. I'm really impressed with him. I think if he gets back up to the lead up there, Santerre could do the whole deal.
Truex in 10th spot. Just back of him and pulling up on the Dragon wagon. Bobby Dragon, one of 2 racing brothers. Harmon Dragon, they call him Beaver. His brother, they both won a bunch of races. Back at the front, Kelly Moore continues to lead Mike McLaughlin. We're getting down to it. 20 laps led. Then the modifieds. We'll be right back.
Honey, let's go for broke.
Whitey Harrison doesn't believe in the word old.
I've been surfing since 1927.
Maybe that's why he uses Armor All Protectant on his dash, seats, and even his tires. In minutes, Armor All helps protect them from fading and aging.
Without this stuff in your car, it's like surfing naked.
Armor All. There is a fountain of youth, and now we guarantee it. If your new car dash ever cracks, we'll replace it. Guaranteed. Cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Coming up on winners, Emerson Fittipaldi, the reigning champion and two-time winner of the Indianapolis 500. Works hard on the track to enjoy life off the track. See his mansion, his boat, his cars. Hear what gave him one of his greatest thrills. Emerson Fittipaldi, next on Winners.
Winners, Sports Sundays, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central on TNN.
Coming up Sunday morning on race day, we'll be live from the site of Sunday's Winston Cup race in Loudon, New Hampshire. It's a big weekend of racing from there, and you can see it all right here on TNN. Plus, the Trans Am Series is in Des Moines, Iowa. Be sure to join us for those stories and the latest news right here.
Race day, 2 different editions, 11:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. Eastern, TNN Motorsports Sundays. Want to do the tush-push, electric slide, even the Louie? Then you'd better watch Bear Step. Get with some of the hottest dancers from some of the hottest dance clubs in the country, including Doodaws in Fort Lauderdale, Miss Kitty's in Atlanta, and Rodeo in Orlando. The whole country's lining up, dancing at the hot spots. Join James Hill and Rebecca Holden for a whooping good time. Dancing at the hot spots, Saturday night, 10 Eastern on TNN, the national network.
Babe Branscombe working hard. You see the in-car over his right shoulder. There's that vent tube Buddy spoke of on the bottom of his helmet.
But if you notice, he's got the shield up. He's getting a little warm in there. The whole idea of having that helmet like that is to hook it up so it blows cool air in there.
Yeah. As Joe Bessie told us, a lot of the North drivers don't like to use a whole lot of driver cooling, don't much have the need. He's a 7-time champion at Star Speedway, and merchants in the city of Concord got together to sponsor this car and work out the in-car camera deal for today. So happy to ride along with him.
And for those looking out there, that's what it looks like to a driver. That's the camera that shows it the best, I guess.
Here's what it looks like at the front. Mike McLaughlin got up so close to Kelly Moore that the second section of the Concord paper would not fit between them.
The last lap or two, he's really looking lofty. He's trying everything he can. You can see the 47 of Kelly Moore. He's giving him that outside lane. If you want it, it's out there. But it's hard to take that lane and make it work. McLaughlin made a strong run on him a while ago. See, look there. There's McLaughlin right down on the inside. A little bit of contact right there coming in the middle of the corner.
Kelly Moore, when McLaughlin gets under him coming out of the corner, Moore gets pretty loose.
It looks like a little touch, but that makes that lead car look in that mirror as much as he does out the windshield, too.
You got to be careful when you lead a race like this that you don't get too protective. You know, you've been running the car hard, trying to stay out front. If you get too protective, then you slow the pace down that you're running.
13 laps to go. Behind them, Schrader and McCabe in formation now. But up front, that's the battle for the lead.
McLaughlin has reeled him in several different times. He's made about 3 real sincere efforts to get around him, and he'll drop back, cool him, and here he comes again. And looks like he's fixing to make that run on him one more time.
Greg Clark still holding on to 5th. Joe Bessie is 6th. Morgan Shepherd now is 7th. The rookie Andy Santerre is 8th. Bobby Dragon is 9th. Mark Truex in 10th. 11th is Curtis Markham. 12th is Tom Rosati. 13th is Jeff Berry. 14th is Bob Brunel. And 15th, Michael Olson. They're all on the lead lap, as are 6 more cars.
When you got 2 guys that have been battling like this 47 and 51 car here, don't rule out the chance of those guys right behind them. Schrader and McCabe have been running a straight line. And if they keep this battling up, I know there's not but like 10 laps to go right after this lap, but those guys still aren't out of the picture back in 3rd and 4th place.
Jamie Obey getting overlapped. Pole sitter.
Oh, boy, McLaughlin's car really got out there wide. I'm not so sure when he made that last run on him, he didn't use a lot of his car. He made 2 real good efforts to pass him, but he's lost some ground since then.
Kelly Moore, 1984 champion up at Oxford Plains, won 10 poles in one season, 1989. And here we go at it again. McCabe underneath Schrader.
Told you they'd run in a straight line, sideways.
And McCabe goes back into 3rd spot. Does he?
And Schrader comes back.
There is no such thing as team cars, guys. When it gets 10 laps to go, That's for the dust there. They're after it.
Schrader's going to try it again. Is there room?
They do the body work at the same shop on these two cars. You don't need to do a whole lot of it. They made the pass.
That's third place. Still got a good margin on the fifth place car. And up front, McLaughlin is right there with 8.5 laps to go. Back straightaway.
Now he's got that inside. That's the first time he's had that inside line on him all day.
That should be the difference right there. He has the preferred line now. I think he'll make the pass.
Kelly Moore.
Yep, there we go.
Loosens up McLaughlin.
Yeah, then he's going to try it back on the inside.
But he didn't have the jump off the outside that he did off the bottom of the racetrack.
Now, but let me tell you, McLaughlin's car seemed to be a little bit loose when he got behind him. Now, if he can get up there behind him and put some heat on him, he might loosen McLaughlin enough to get back around him.
Traffic will be a factor here. 7 laps to go next time by. Work around 3-car of Randy Snyder. McLaughlin leaving just about a half a lane on the inside.
I'm not sure he won't leave that half lane. It's like the back of his car is a little bit loose. Kelly Moore can get up there really, really close. He can cause some problems for him.
Moore right underneath the yellow line. Put it right down the center of the car there in the middle of the corner.
You know, one thing you'll do, leading the race, coming up with just a few laps to go, you'll even slow down the straightaway just a little bit and slow that second car down so he can't time it to get a better run off the corner on you. So you're all timing and where you're at now.
Mike, you said earlier the traffic's going to be a factor. Look right here. Here they are coming up on some lap cars when they enter into it.
Barney McRae, and then just ahead of him, Brian Ross, and relief from Glenn Sullivan. 6 to go.
Kelly Moore looks like he loses ground. All of a sudden, he closes it up in one straightaway.
That hurt him right there. Ross moves over. Ian McLaughlin, long-time modified battlers. Here comes Moore.
Yeah, no, McLaughlin cleared that lap car before they got through the corner. Kelly Moore didn't. That'd have cost him a little bit. He's still having to contend with that car up that corner.
5 laps to go. Back at third place, it's still McCabe, and he has distanced himself from Schrader quite a bit. 6th and 7th, Morgan Shepherd and Joe Bessie, only a couple of car lengths apart, but not as close as this.
Boy, Kelly Moore really pulled back up on the back of McLaughlin then. I don't know. He may have something for him right here.
Look how he gains on it going down in the corner. Makes up a lot of distance getting down in each corner. But you can see how much lower he's able to run than McLaughlin. That's where he's been his strong suit all day long.
Mike McLaughlin, there's your third place car, Dick McCabe, black 0. And up front, Kelly Moore has caught right back up to the race leader.
Now see, he's back off of him a little bit, but where he's really good is they go down in this corner, he's been able to drive right up on the back bumper every time.
And Schrader has caught Dick McCabe again in traffic. Three to go.
There's that lap traffic cost Schrader some distance also. It's just a matter of how you catch him. What part of the track?
I don't know about you, Neil, but I'm proud of McCabe. At 59 years old running a race like that, that's super.
Boy, and it is hot out there, too. Here we go. We see him close up. We see Kelly Moore close in. McLaughlin beat him up off him a little bit. But it looked like Kelly Moore's strong part is getting down in the corner. That's where he's going to make his gains from him.
In the points, McLaughlin leads McCabe by 21. McCabe in third place. Won't lose much ground here. 2 laps to go. And a lapped car. Just ahead of McLaughlin. That's Mark Purcell, who spun earlier, now getting way to the inside, letting the leaders go past. And it'll be white flag time.
Yeah, McLaughlin's got enough lead. He's got a little bit to play with right there. He can give him up a little bit in each corner, not make a mistake, still pull this thing out.
Mike McLaughlin down into turn number 1. For the final time, Kelly Moore is going to pull it right up there. Hard on the throttle off of 2. McLaughlin, that little bit wider line, might have gained him a few feet there.
McLaughlin's got more work to do yet, but it looks like he's going to win this thing. He's got to hurry and get in another race car here right quick.
He has already won a doubleheader at New Hampshire, and he is halfway to it again. Mike McLaughlin. Coors Extra Gold Old wins over Kelly Moore, and Dick McCabe beats Ken Schrader to the line.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike McLaughlin did a great job. Those guys right there on the pit road up under that car, changing that track bar, working on the right foot spring. They did a lot of work to get him up front.
Mike Ricci, the crew chief. Brother Harry owns the race car. They have won again at New Hampshire. We'll be back to talk to the winners and get ready for the 40-lap modified shootout here at New Hampshire coming up next. Stay with us.
In America, your car doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco has developed Haviland Formula 3 motor oil with not one but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
Hey, I like to save money as much as the next guy. But what are the odds that there's going to be a sale on the parts you need when your car breaks down? Hey, it's not going to happen. That's why I go to AutoZone. I mean, sure, you can wait around for a couple weeks and maybe beat their price by a few pennies someplace else. But I don't want to wait for a sale when I need a part. Now, what more could you ask for?
When the job is tough, you need the best. And when you need the best, you reach for Channel Lock. For the power. The precision. For just plain counting on, there's only one. Channel Lock. Be sure you're getting genuine Channel Lock tools. Look for this trademark.
What drives Rusty Wallace?
I'm a competitor. I always want to win, and second's not near good enough. And I remember I used to dream about this stuff. I was kind of a motorhead, too. And, man, we were in zeros. We raced the local dirt tracks. Never thought we'd be where we are right now. It's a little weird, I guess, but I have a damn good time doing what I do, and I really enjoy it.
Rusty Wallace and TNN Motorsports. When it comes to live NASCAR racing, no one plays as hard.
Power plays on TNN Motorsports.
Mike McLaughlin has scored his 5th win at New Hampshire International Speedway. It's his 4th in a Busch Grand National car. He also has a modified victory here, and he's trying to do what he did before and double head and win both ends of the twin bill here at New Hampshire. He's halfway there. Glenn Jarrett's with him.
Well, if you remember about 2 hours ago, Mike McLaughlin said if there's a V6 car was going to win this race, it was going to be his car. Boy, it didn't look like it early on. You really had to fight it, Mike.
Well, we weren't fast enough to win yesterday, late practice. Probably 3rd, 4th place car. And crew, and we all got together and said, hey, we're here to win. We changed 2 springs, sway bar, Panhard bar. We had to pit the first stop, change the Panhard bar back. I'm just happy for Coors and Wheels Discount Auto. They've been behind me. You know, we've had a few tough times, but times like this would make it all worth it.
Well, we're going to replay the pass that you made there to take the lead, and you look like you were biding your time just waiting on it. Tell us how you set that up.
Well, I was getting off the corner a little bit better than Kelly, and then he broke his momentum around his lap car and won. A little high, and they're out of 4, a little high in 1 and 2, and I had enough momentum to come up under him.
Well, congratulations on a great win. You're 4th here in this series, and you got this track figured out.
Well, it's been good to me. It's a great speedway, and Bear family deserves this crowd they've got today.
That's a fact. Randy?
Well, Kelly Moore standing here. Great run, just, what, you a little short? Where was it? Where were you short?
Yeah, we were a little short in the time of the coming off the corner. You know, we ran real good all day long. You know, the Jordan Lumber Makita Chevy Lumina ran real strong all day long. And, you know, Mike was just a little bit stronger right where he needed to be off the corner, and he got up underneath us, you know, and we gave him the room, and we tried to get back to him, and he just checked out on us. And he beat us fair and square. You know, we had a real good run, and we're going to run second to anybody. We'll run second to Mike McLaughlin. He's one of the cleanest guys out here.
Short race, 150, long race maybe for you guys. What about the heat factor in there? It was pretty hot out here, I should say.
Yeah, it's hot. You know, the pace laps are the ones that kill you. You know, the
when you're racing, the heat really doesn't play a factor with me anyway, but on the pace laps, it really beats up on you. But, you know, there was very few pace laps today, so, you know, it really wasn't all that bad, you know. It was hotter, I think, out yesterday than it is today. We got a little breeze, so it was fair.
Congratulations on a good run.
Thank you.
Well, Mike Joy, it should be certainly a lot hotter at 300 laps around here tomorrow, but we got 40 laps to go coming up.
That's right. The modifieds are next year on TNN. Mike McLaughlin notches the win. Kelly Moore gets his third runner-up finish this season. Dick McCabe third in the points by 36 behind McLaughlin. He finishes third. His teammate Ken Schrader comes home fourth. Good run for Greg Clark today, winding up in the 5th position. That's his first top 10 this year. Morgan Shepherd is 6th. Joe Bessie is 7th. The rookie, Andy Santerre, gets his best finish of the season. Bobby Dragon is 9th, and Martin Truex finishes 10th. 11th was Curtis Markham. 12th, Tom Rosati. 13th, Jeff Berry. Bob Brunel was 14th, and Mike Olson 15th. Here at New Hampshire today, Tom Bowles was 16th, then Mike Stefanik, Paige Jones, Barney McRae, and Buzzy Bazanson filled out the top 20 positions. All but those last two finished on the lead lap. Then it was Babe Branscombe carrying our in-car camera, Mark Purcell, Glenn Sullivan, Randy Snyder, and Stub Fadden, 25th. Jamie Obie faded to 26th ahead of Dean Ferry, Reggie Ruggiero, Scott DeWare, and Jeff Spraker. Dale Earnhardt in the garage, 31st. Dana Patton, Keith Blamel, Shauna Robinson, and Ken Wallace. Brian Ross, Ted Christopher, Gigi Gravel, Steve Hoddick, and Ed Kennedy. Robbie Crouch, first car out of the race. Craftsman Tools presents our point standings for the Busch North Tour. Mike McLaughlin over Dick McCabe, and the margin 36 points right now. Curtis Markham is 3rd. Kelly Moore 4th, and Jamie Obie drops to 5th. Coming up, wildest machines you'll see running under the NASCAR banner, the modifieds. Look at those big 15-inch wide steamroller tires on defending national champ Jeff Fuller's car. They'll go 40 laps here next, so don't touch that dial. Doubleheader action here in New Hampshire continues right after these messages.